Okay, welcome to the wonderful world of inequalities. If we just look at the word, n means not, equal means equal, inequality means not equal. In the world of math, there's way more numbers not equal to a number than are equal to a number. Obviously, 8 is equal to 8, but 8 is not equal to every other number on the history of the planet. Okay, I don't know why I had to clarify that. But let's talk about the four big ones. There's actually a fifth one that is pretty common, but I didn't put it down here. For extra credit, you are to figure out what the fifth inequality symbol is, and I'll tell it to you at the end of this video. All right, you learned this one in like first grade. Less than, and you read these from left to right, okay? So 6 is less than 8. Now in first grade, you got to put the little teeth, I'm an alligator and I'm gonna eat the bigger number because I would eat more things than less things. Leave the teeth out. Unless your teacher lets you do it, then I don't care. Okay, greater than. -2 is greater than -10. It is. Now here's kind of the new one. And I want you to be really careful that we say it correctly. Less than or equal than. Most people say less than, that's not true. The people who get it wrong say less than and equal to. You can't be less than and equal to a number. You can be less than or equal to a number. For example, 6 can be less than or equal to 9. 8 can be less than or equal to 8 because it's equal to. Can't be and. Then obviously greater than or equal to. 7 is greater than or equal to -2. And -16 is greater than, no it's not, or it's equal to -16, which it is. Okay, so that's the inequality introduction. Let's now learn how to write inequalities. So, here's what I want you to do. We're only going to do these one at a time. I'm going to read you a sentence, and we're going to use X for all of them. And then we're going to figure out the inequality. And if you give it a real life context, it's a lot easier than if you just look in your textbook. So for example, you can invite at most 5 friends. That was never an issue for me, especially in middle school. Usually I had to invite my mom, my neighbor's mom, grandfather to my parties. Okay, anyways, I have to stay under 10 minutes. You can invite at most 5 friends. I was just stalling. So what's the inequality for at most? We're gonna use X for all of them. At most is less than or equal to 5. You can invite 5, but you can't invite more than 5. It has to be under 5 at most. Okay, so now you kind of get what we're doing. So if you need to hit pause, but we're going to do these one at a time. Bring at least. So we're going to use X for all of these. And if you really want to be right, you would say 5 friends. Okay, bring at least $8 to the field trip. Can you bring $7? Can you bring $10? Bring at least. You better bring 8 or more is what I'm thinking, okay? You have to bring at least $8. You can bring 9, you can bring 13, you can bring 24. You can bring $8 and 1 penny. Okay, the Lakers have fewer than 3 wins. They're playing the Kings right now without Luka. They're currently winning, but I don't think that's going to happen. Although it's probably a fair game now that he's not there. Doesn't matter. The Lakers have fewer than 3 wins. Fewer than 3 wins. They have fewer. They could have 1 win. They could have 0 wins. But they can't have 3 wins because they have fewer, which is less than. Okay, 2 more. We need to miss no more than 2 flags. Can we miss 1 flag and have this be correct? Can we miss 6 flags and have this be correct? If you do miss 6 flags, you're not going to win. Okay, we need to miss no more than 2 flags. What do you guys think it is? Go ahead, write it down. Okay. We can miss 1, we can miss 0, that'd be awesome. We can even miss 2, but no more than 2. Okay, the last one. To get into a good college, you need a score no less than 90%, no less than. So obviously we can't have 89. You could have 90 and 100 would be cool. I'm going to say this is x is greater than or equal to 90%, okay? X is greater than or equal to 90%, okay? So when you see these types of words written, these are the matching inequalities, okay? I'm on last thing, okay? Graphing inequalities. So the way that we're going to do this is you're going to have to write a number line. Different teachers will have you do it different ways. This is how I teach it. This is how I would encourage you to do it. Because you have to write x is greater than 2. So x is greater than 2. So in order to graph it, what that means is you have to get a graph, and every number greater than 2, you have to include it. So we're going to draw an arrow. Now, unless you have a really wide piece of paper, you're not going to be able to show that on this piece of paper. So here's how we're going to do it. So go ahead and just pay attention. We're going to show whatever number is greater than 2, okay? Now, and I'm going to explain this in a second. We're going to do an open circle, and we're going to draw an arrow this way, okay? Open circle, arrow this way. And what that means is every number on this number line that goes that way is going to be part of our graph, because x could be 7, x could be 1,000, x could be 1,000,000, x could be 2.1. It's every number to the right of 2. Now, why did we do an open circle? You know why. Can x be 2 in this graph? The answer is no. It has to be greater than 2. So the open circle, what that means is 2 is not part of the graph. Well, what if it's greater than or equal to? Hang on. All right, next question. X is less than -4. So again, open circle, less than. Which way is less than? This way, okay? So again, open circle means 4 is not part of our graph, but every number less than -4. -5, -6, -7, -9, -1,000,000. That way is less than, okay? All right, I bet you know what's going to happen here. I want you to graph every number less than or equal to 0. Every number less than or equal to 0. Ooh, that's fun. Why do you think I filled that circle in? Go. Correct. Because it also could be 0. How do you know it could be 0? Because it could be equal to. It could be less than, which is every number this way. -1, -2, -3. But it also could be 0 because of this little line. So if you have the line underneath here, which means or equal to, fill in the circle. Let's do 2 more. X is greater than or equal to -17. X is greater than or equal to -17. We're going to go to -17. It's filled in. It's greater than. Greater than. Okay? And you're going to go, well, why are you doing this weird sort of -2 too? That's just how I do it. Because otherwise, how many little lines do you really need? I always do the number they want and the opposite. Well, why do you do it? I don't know. It's just because that's how I do it. You can do it differently if you want, but you don't need to draw a whole bunch of tick marks. So anyways, that's the way I like to represent it. Okay, now, have you seen a pattern? I want you to look at our inequalities, and I want you to look at the way the arrows are going, and what pattern do you see? That looks like an arrow. It's going to the right. That looks like an arrow. It's going to the left. That looks like an arrow. It's going to the left. That looks like an arrow. Okay, so curveball, does that trick work when it's written like this? No, because the variable has to be on the other side for it to work. Okay, so I'm going to solve this 2 ways. So this is the last one we're going to do too, and it's going to be under 10 minutes, I hope. All right, you have to read it with the variable first. X is greater than 7. Here's what I'm going to do. I just took the exact same inequality and I flip-flopped it. 7 is less than x. X is greater than 7. x is greater than 7, 7 is less than x. If you put the variable on the left side, it just works better for my brain. So now x is greater than 7. Close circle, open circle, close circle, open circle. X is greater than 7. X is greater than 7, but it's not equal to 7 because there is no line underneath. Okay, so that is intro to inequalities. It's how to graph inequalities. We're gonna have a lot of fun with these. We can do amazing things with them, but that's all I have time for now, and I really hope this is under 10 minutes. Wish me luck. Peace.